Welcome to the Encore Learning Audio-Visual Technology Refresher. This 12-minute video is created to assist Encore Learning class aides in setup and use of AV equipment in GMU Van Meter Hall 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor, smaller size classrooms, 210, 308, 310, 311, 313, 317, and 466. Those with one screen, small Crestron display panel, and 30 to 36 seats. This is not a substitute for the in-class hands-on training, but is intended to refresh knowledge and skill, as well as serve as a quick reference in video and PowerPoint presentation formats. The outline for this video is shown on this slide. The topics are covered in one slide each for each topic and are ordered by the sequence normally required for setup and managing the class. Step 1 of classroom setup is to start the system and launch of projector and projection screen using the Creston control panel, the touchscreen device identified by arrow 1 on the instructor table. If off, the display will be unlit. Thus, tap gray part of the display, then tap Start Class. Projection screens lower, watch heads, and the projectors slowly warm up. Tap the sources icon and ensure PC is selected, arrow 2. Enable video icon. The Creston control panel is the same device you use to enable video and audio icons located below the sources icon, if necessary. To temporarily disable screen projection, tap on Video Enabled Selector, arrow 3. Disabling is useful when going through setup so as not to distract arriving class members. Step 2 of classroom setup is to start and perform setup of the PC, whether it is off or asleep. Verify PC monitors are on by moving mouse. Check the monitor power before looking at the computer power button. If off, press square power button on lower right of display frame, arrow 1. Accidentally turning off the computer, it's easy to do if you think the screen is dark because the computer is off, will slow setup considerably as PC has to reboot. If PC is off, find round button on console, arrow 2. If reboot is required, this could take at least 15 minutes. Step 3 of classroom setup is to log on to the computer. Don't delay. PC gives access to features such as Internet, thumb drive, PowerPoint, and pointer clicker. If lock on screen does not appear, press Ctrl-Alt-Delete simultaneously on keyboard. Using the username and password on the computer display, arrow 1, log in to the appropriate text boxes, arrow 2. If the Ink to Go floating bar appears on the display, arrow 3, tap the X at the right of the bar to close the controls and select Yes in the dialog, arrow 4. Step 4 of classroom setup is to establish Internet access. The computer can be slow to process, so don't delay. Select instructor's preferred web browser, for example, Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla, from those icons displayed on the computer display desktop. Ignore the Blackboard Learning web page which first appears. Open a new tab, see arrow 1. Shown in this procedure is the Chrome browser, or simply type your desired website into the address window, arrow 2, for example, youtube.com, and press Enter on keyboard. Step 5 of classroom setup is to set up pointer clicker for laser pointer and PowerPoint control. Open the back of the Encore Learning pointer clicker and remove the dongle, arrow 1, and plug it into the USB port in the equipment rack below the table. Be patient, it may take time for the computer to load. Switch the clicker's on-off button to on, arrow 2. Control for laser pointer is the large button, arrow 3, and controls for moving slides in a PowerPoint slideshow backward and forward are left and right arrow buttons respectively, arrow 4. Step 6 of classroom setup is to set up the instructor's PowerPoint presentation file. If the instructor provides his files on a flash or thumb drive, plug drive into a USB port in the PC below the table, arrow 1. Ignore the small pop-up that appears on the computer display. Right-click the Windows icon at the bottom left, find flash drive, then select the file. If instructor provides his file on a DVD/CD, in the equipment rack below the table, press the small rectangular black button on the PC DVD/CD tray, arrow 2. Avoid the round power button near it. Place the DVD/CD into the tray and gently press the tray closed. Right-click the Windows icon on the bottom left corner of the computer screen, select File Explorer, then choose the DVD/CD drive, then choose desired PowerPoint file within the drive. For video use same instructions as above, then use DVD controls displayed on control panel screen to play fast forward, eject, or other actions. Step 6 of classroom setup is to set up slides for presentation. In PowerPoint, select the Slideshow tab, then click on the first slide to be displayed. If presenter view is projected to the classroom, left figure, click on Display Settings option at the top of the screen, arrow 1, and select Swap Presenter View and Slideshow or Duplicate Slideshow, arrow 2, until the classroom screen shows the full slide and the instructor's content with what is displayed on the monitor screen. They may have notes they need to refer to in the presenter view. Use the left-right arrow keys on the keyboard or the Encore Learning pointer clicker to move through slides. Hit the Keyboard Escape ESC key at the end of the presentation. An additional classroom setup step is required if an instructor desires to use his own laptop. Plug the laptop into the power strip on the equipment rack below the table. Note, if the laptop is a Mac, instructors must provide an adapter, arrow 1, alert instructor before first session. Regardless of type of laptop, all GMU classrooms have HDMI connector cables and no longer have the VGA 9-pin connector cables, arrow 2. Thus, the instructor must supply a second adapter if they have only VGA. Connect HDMI cable from tabletop to HDMI connector for the laptop, arrow 3. Once connected, use the Creston control panel and select aux from the sources, arrow 4. If screens appear solid blue, call Mason Tech at 38226 to reset the AV system. An additional classroom setup step is required if an instructor desires to use the document camera. Unfold document camera if not in upright position, arrow 1, with lights and camera lens facing down, arrow 2. Select Dock Cam from the source choices on the Creston control panel. Use yellow lamp button to toggle between settings for transparency or opaque projection. Rotate camera head on axis as needed to center on the white tray. Adjust side lights as needed. Place item on white tray. It could be paper, transparency, book, figurine, etc., but never write on it. Use yellow zoom plus and minus triangle buttons on the document camera base for appropriate image size. An additional classroom step is to set up the new Encore Learning Boombox PA system. It is important to be sure and fully charge both devices, the boombox and headset, overnight before class session, arrows 1 and 2. Turn on the headset, then speaker, the large round knob connecting to Bluetooth headset. Display shows blue when connecting. Adjust volume using the knob. Place headset atop instructor's head with transmitter in front of ear and microphone arm extending from left side of face, arrow 3. Position boombox speaker in best room location with the speaker device facing front toward students. An additional classroom setup step is to set up the Encore Learning headset microphone. Important, make sure to fully charge the device overnight before class session. Arrow 1. Place headset behind the instructor's head with bent ends of crown resting atop the ears and microphone arm extending from left side of face. Arrow 2. Place speaker waist belt around instructor's waist or hanging by belt from their neck if they cannot accommodate the waist belt, with the speaker device facing front toward students. Plug the headset cord into the speaker device. Turn on speaker device and adjust volume using knob. An additional classroom setup step is to use speaker volume control on the Creston control panel. This procedure is not for microphone volume, but for room speakers volume. Tap volume on the control panel, arrow 1. Use up and down arrows to raise or lower general volume level shown by the thermometer icon. To mute sound, tap audio enabled. To unmute, tap audio disabled, arrow 2. An additional classroom setup step is to adjust the light controls. Controls are located by classroom doors. 4 buttons control room lights. Preset 1, the top button, all lights on. Preset 2, front can lights are off, okay for projecting and using whiteboard. Preset 3, front cans and whiteboard overheads off, best for projection and note-taking. Preset 4, all lights off, not recommended due to safety issues. If instructor prefers all lights off during any part of the presentation, please advise students to remain in their seats or bring a pen light if they must move about while lights are off. Step 6 and last step of classroom setup is to close out all items activated at start of class. Remove lavalier mic from instructor. Flick switch to off on mic body and put back into drawer. Turn off Encore Learning pointer clicker and replace flash thumb drive inside. Retain for next session. Return instructor's materials, the flash drive, DVD, CD, etc. before instructor exits. On the control panel, tap the power icon, upper right corner, then tap shutdown, arrow 1. Projection screen automatically retracts and all AV devices eventually turn off. If it is desired to only turn off computer, go to Windows icon, lower left corner of display, left click the mouse and select shutdown option, arrow 2. If the previous step has been accomplished, there is no need to do this since all parts of the system will have shut down. Check the room for trash, forgotten items, and turn lights off as exiting. This ends the refresher video.